everyone, KobaltKai here. Welcome back to my game development log of Kaiju Chronicles. It's been quite a long month, honestly. Haven't had much time to focus on this game, but the time I have had, I've thrown down real hard. So, I've been working not so much on the level design as much as the enemy design. Previously, I was actually working on the character design, and this is very important because right now I have up to about like 42 different characters you should be able to play as. But what I was also working on was finding a way to make the levels so that the upper floors are not potentially blocking the camera angle. It was also primarily finding the right camera angle to have it at. So I got some stairs here, and this is the upper floor, and the fact that these tiles aren't like super zoomed in means that I found the perfect aspect ratio for most of my content. Now it's just a matter of getting the characters to be the right size on screen. I might have to zoom it out and make it 8 pixels high instead of 6, but this is the progress so far. So now I'm going to show you guys the other progress that I've been able to achieve. See, that will be in Krita. So if you are hearing music right now, that's actually game music that I handmade myself just a few minutes ago. It only took a few minutes, but I'm actually planning on making all of the music by myself, like no AI studio production, because what's the point? Like, AI is just copying someone else, and I want this game to be original. So honestly, this is very likely still going to be the title screen. Might do some changes eventually, but I'm going to show you guys the new characters that I've been working on. So we have all the previous ones. You got the lion, the beaver, the nine-tails, everything else like that. But what we also have now, in addition to this cat, we have a polar bear, we have a dragon inspired by Steven Universe, don't at me. We have a vampire bat, and we have an elephant. And one very specific alligator from a very specific game I'm not going to mention, but it rhymes with I'm kidding, it's from Brock. So we've got his typical fox. This guy was actually inspired by American Dragon, actually. This was a pangolin that was done from a vote. Same with this penguin, same with this turtle. So we've also got a tanuki, and I'm not going to describe that too much, but also a panda. So when all these characters, if all these characters are developed and if everything goes the way I've planned, you should be able to play as at least 5 of them. This is an orc. Very likely some 500-year-old demon from a former villain that's been defeated inside a collapsed base. And this is just for fun. I mean, just for fun's sake. So I ran out of like characters to think of for the moment. But what I'm going to show you guys also. So all of these individual photos all these individual pieces up here, each of them have at least 25 to 50 different things in them outside of this one. So I'm going to show you guys the concept art that I've been developing, and the concept art is surprisingly important because it's helped me frame this project. But here you have the main character, who may or may not be the raccoon. I might do a poll on that, fighting against something that I'm not going to describe right now. But let's just say that it's not exactly it's probably going to be a very scary kind of game, honestly. Still going to be furry themed, still going to have VORE in it, of course. Like, that's the main focus primarily. But I'm also going to show you guys a draft of the primary cutscene. And the cutscene is going to be this guy shooting up out of the ground and trying to hack into the mainframe of the inner layer of the map that I just showed you. So this maze that I showed you earlier, it is actually primarily designed as the lowest base of an abandoned hero association. And to reiterate what's going on in the game, you are not playing as the hero, you're playing as the villain. So your job is to basically break into this abandoned hero association and figure out why these planet-shattering, earth-throwing, galaxy-saving heroes were forced to seal up their own base and act like it never existed. And honestly, yeah, it might be pretty scary because the first character you're probably going to meet may or may not be my persona, for better or for worse, but you'd have to play the game to find out why that is, because he's not necessarily going to be good either. He's probably going to kill you. If you're not careful, of course. But I plan on putting some computers in here for mainframe hacking and whatnot, and outside of that, now that I have the perfect angle, I should be able to create a vent system, so like a bridge system with these moving over to the left or right, I have only used about a third or fourth of this entire map. So I'm going to show you guys what the map actually looks like inside of, let's see, it looks like, here it is. Yep, here's the map. So it hasn't really changed all that much as of yet, outside of the fact that I have I've created this new layer on the top right here. So this upper layer combined with these stairs, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stairs, this is the upper layer that I am primarily focusing on. So for the first level, you would very likely have to start moving up. I'm thinking of like making it a Metroidvania-like game, but as I mentioned before previously, what I'm planning to do is that each individual character has a different combat style. So you might have a character that has heavy blows, a character that has light blows, but what I'm intending to do is make sure that with each character, what you have to do is you have to play the game in a little bit of a different way. So what I'm going to show you now is the final animation quality for this game. So this is actually my Chrome browser, but I have a public poll going on. Whatever species you'd like to see in-game or whatever character you prefer, feel free to comment down below. I'm not going to show those comments, of course, because, well, you guys know why, it's for affinity. But for the most part, this is the end content, basically. This is what the quality for the animations is going to be. Now, this is suitable for work, mind you, by FA standards, but that's the frame rate. So 19 frames per second, multiple layers with the ability to interact. It's very likely going to be like barb footer or pan footer. It depends on my mood, but for the most part, that's primarily going to be it. So next, I'm going to show you guys some of the other stuff that I just glossed over when I went over Krita. So for the most part, to reiterate, these are the enemies. We have the Symbionics, which for the most part are ridiculously powerful machines left to guard the hero base. We've got alien monsters that took over plant life, so good luck fighting that. I'm not going to like throw you guys into it. I'll very likely have a tutorial or something. I do not like want this game to be too hard. Basically, I want this game to have a low skill ceiling and I want this game to have a very high skill ceiling and a low entry point. So these are some of the monsters that I've been designing, and what you might want to notice with these is that between the characters and the monsters themselves are not going to be playable, but depending on how the game goes, you might be able to tame some of these monsters. This one has spider DNA infused with it, so good luck dealing with getting trapped with that. But this guy will very likely kill you guys a bunch. This is probably going to be one of the biggest and strongest bosses, and the reason why I'm saying that is because if I go back to this concept art, this guy right here, who is about 40 times larger than your main character, is this guy. So good luck fighting him. Other than that, I have the alien enemies primarily finished, so yeah, everything is just about finished outside of the main enemies. But yeah, that's basically it. The rest of this video is actually going to be a music test. So just for the record, I have been working on the music a lot because, well, without ambient and occlusion, video games are just like looking at a screen while being deaf, and I'm impressed by deaf people who can play games that rely heavily on sound, but I want you guys to be able to hear the tension. So I'm going to play another theme song right here. So this is very likely going to be played when you get a game over or when you die, honestly. There's no in between. Oh, I didn't explain this either. This would supposedly be a barrier against alien forces created with logs. So I'm not going to explain too much, hopefully. But yeah, this is how it's going primarily. So, for For the most part, I'm going to just like start working on another concept. I don't know if this one's going to make it in-game, but I'd like to create some part of this game while you guys are watching so that you feel involved. After all, well, it's what you guys vote for that I add to the game, actually. So, let's try this. And something I didn't explain with a lot of my music is that it's not going to have only one theme in it, very likely, but several. So for the most part, that's actually just me letting the music do the talkings. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you guys another one, because what I actually did is I made several of these. So this is very likely going to be one of the villains' themes. And I'm going to let you guys hear this because I think I did a remix of Beethoven's music a little bit in this just for fun. Good luck fighting this if I do put it in the game, by the way, because it's going to be very hard. So, something I would appreciate, though, if you guys would like to comment down below, tell me how hard do you want the boss fights to be? Because with the first one, it's given that it's going to very likely be easy, but with all the subsequent ones, it's probably going to kill you a lot. Okay, so there we go. This is very likely going to be potentially a cutscene. So each of these different concepts that I'm working on is very likely going to be the start of a cutscene that I'm going to be working on. Although I'm not going to tell you guys the order that I'm putting them in, because that would spoil it. But other than that, yep, this is basically as far as we are at so far. So from this point on, all I have to do is focus on creating the characters, the jump animations, the abilities, the items, and the text, as well as what an end goal is. So, if you guys like my content, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe down below. And like I've been saying up to this point, please do actually go on to like my for Affinity or the comments below and tell me what you would like to see if you'd like to play this game, because I'm making this for you guys. So, other than that, nice speaking with you. Hope you had a good 4th of July. This came out like one day after. And I will see you guys later.